Transported back to 1969, the moment I opened my eyes, a blonde, blue-eyed foreign wife was sitting on my Kong and asked right away, "Want a wife?" Before I could even react, she added, "Marry my younger sister, and I come with her, buy one get one free." Good grief, what kind of 60s is this? Has this overwhelming stroke of fortune finally come to me? November 11th, 1969, Tuanjiatan. The adobe houses crouched at the foot of the mountains, like frozen field mice. The bitter wind rolled snow pellets along, so cold people wished they could crawl into the stove, and even the dogs didn't want to go outside. I was lying on the Kong, half awake and groggy, my mind still stuck at the drinking party from the previous second. Suddenly, a woman's voice sounded in my ear. "Jenya, wake up, I want to ask you something." The moment I opened my eyes, good grief, a blonde, blue-eyed face was right in front of me, fair enough to dazzle, with a high-nose bridge and blinking blue eyes. This, a woman from the Bear Nation. She sat boldly on the edge of my Kong and asked the moment she opened her mouth, "Want a wife?" I was completely stunned at the time. Memories came rushing in all at once. I had transmigrated to a northeastern rural village in the late 60s. This body was also called Li Janya, 20 years old. The foreign woman in front of me was called Anna, the wife of my next-door neighbor Li Weigua. Li Weigua had fallen gravely ill, and no girl was willing to marry him. Anna needed a status to stay, so the two of them ended up becoming a family. Now Brother Weigua was so sick he couldn't get off the Kong, and she, on the other hand, came over early in the morning to ask if I wanted a wife. My biological younger sister, Aisha, is 18 this year and has been sent down to the neighboring town. She's just as striking as I am. Anna puffed out her chest, looking proud. "If you're willing, I'll have her be your wife right away." My mind spun quickly. In my previous life, marrying a foreign wife? It was something I wouldn't even dare dream about. Now that one was being delivered to my door for free, I'd be a fool not to take it. Besides, Anna's emerald green eyes were fixed on me, full of expectation. I answered crisply, "Sure, bring her over." Anna was so happy she nearly jumped up, grabbing me and heading straight to her house. Li Weigua was leaning against the Kong, his face so pale there wasn't a trace of blood in it, with dark corn buns and thin porridge beside him. With difficulty, he pulled a black and white photograph from under his pillow and handed it to me. Aisha, wearing two braided pigtails, smiling brightly, her eyes lively and sparkling. To be honest, she really was pretty, exactly my type. Brother Weigua's voice was as weak as a mosquito's. "Jenya, this marriage was my idea. This body of mine won't make it through this winter. The one I can't stop worrying about is Anna. Originally, I wanted you to take her in and marry her, but you're only 20. Making you marry a second married woman would be too unfair to you. So I want Aisha to marry you, and from now on, you can look after Anna more." He paused, breathing heavily, his eyes earnest. "Other people have a hard enough time marrying one wife, but you basically get two. It's just that the burden is a bit heavier, so it'll be hard on you." Hearing this made my heart ache. This neighbor brother I'd only just met, lying in bed unable to get up, was still making plans for me and finding someone for Anna to rely on. I held the bowl and fed him porridge, spoonful by spoonful. After only a few bites, his head tilted and he was gone. The air in the room seemed to freeze. Even the snowflakes outside the window seemed to stop in midair. The hand holding the bowl froze there, and my chest felt tight. After the funeral was finished 3 days later, Anna's family had emptied out all their savings. She kept her head down, sweeping snow in the yard, slipped, and nearly fell. I hurried over and caught her. She lowered her head, her voice muffled. "Jenya, there isn't much money left at home. From now on, I'll have to rely on you to take care of me." I looked at this foreign woman. Alone on this frozen land, my only support was me. I took a deep breath of the icy air and said seriously, "Anna, don't worry. Weigua entrusted you to me, and I will definitely hold this family up and let you sisters live a good life." I sounded tough, but when I got home and sat down on the edge of the Kong, I wasn't sure myself. In the late 1960s, in those years of scarcity, when cracking down on capitalist tendencies, making money was harder than reaching the sky. With Anna and my future wife Elsa, just relying on the little work points from the production team, we'd be lucky just to have enough to eat. Just as I was worrying, a ding sounded in my head. Detected. Target character Anna's favorability toward host has increased. Favorability system successfully bound. Anna's current favorability, 20. A system. My cheat ability had arrived. My heart pounded as a surge of ecstasy rushed over me. For every 20-point increase in favorability, I could draw once. And the prizes were random, ranging from skills to supplies. It was exactly 20 points now, so I might as well draw first. I silently thought of drawing, and a capsule machine popped up before my eyes. I pressed the button. Congratulations, host, you have obtained God-tier archery. In the next second, a flood of information poured into my mind. The posture for holding a bow, the force for drawing the string, aiming techniques, judging wind direction and distance, it all sank into my bones, as if I had practiced archery for decades. I rubbed my hands excitedly. My family had an ancestral hunting bow, but no one knew how to use it before, so it had been gathering dust. Now it could finally come in handy. I rushed to the side room, took down the dust-covered longbow from the wall, strung it, and nocked an arrow. In the yard, a dead leaf was drifting down from the old poplar tree. I raised my hand and drew the bow to a full moon. With a whoosh, the arrow pierced straight through the center of the leaf and nailed itself into the trunk. Incredible! With a skill like this, what was there to worry about food and drink? Changbai Mountain was right in front of me. Hunting there would be a piece of cake. I put on a thick cotton coat, wrapped a hemp rope around my waist, tucked a firewood chopper at the small of my back, and went to tell Anna after slinging the bow and arrows over my back. When she saw me fully equipped, her face went pale with fright. "Jenya, what are you going to do? The mountain is too dangerous. There are tigers. You've never hunted before. I'll just look around the outer area. Staying alive comes first. I absolutely won't leave you to keep an empty bed alone." I tossed out those words and turned to leave. Anna's face instantly turned red, and the words at her lips just wouldn't come out. As soon as I left the yard, a figure came swaggering out from under the old locust tree at the village entrance. Lou Erden, the village's notorious loafer, always stealing chickens and dogs, and never doing anything proper. With his hands tucked in, his triangular eyes glanced sideways at the bow on my back, and he said mockingly, half sneering and half sarcastic, "Yo, carrying a fire poker, heading up the mountain?" I ignored him, treating him like a clod of dirt by the roadside. That only made him bolder, and he circled around me. "Jenya, your brother's bones aren't even cold yet, and you're already in such a hurry to head into the mountain and keep him company? Carrying a busted bow, you think you're some hunter? What do you think you're going to catch?" I stopped abruptly and looked at him coldly. With a mouth that foul, "Are you looking to die?" Startled by my glare, Lou Erden shrank back a little, but immediately put on that shameless, unruly act again and spat on the ground. "Who are you trying to scare? If you've got guts, try killing me." "Bah, what are you acting so arrogant for? Why waste words on human trash?" I strode straight into the mountain. Behind me, I could still hear his weird, taunting voice. "When some wild beast carries you off, I'll go console that foreign widow and discuss life with her." The snow was past my ankles, and the silence in the mountains pressed on my ears until they felt numb. In this black and white world, the black was tree trunks, the white was snowdrifts, and everything gave off the grim aura of a primeval forest. My eyes swept over the snow, and I quickly spotted a string of plum blossom-like footprints, a snow hare. Following the track soundlessly, I crept over and saw a fat rabbit crouched beneath a dead tree root, nibbling at something, its ears twitching. It suddenly raised its head, its red eyes scanning around warily. I had already held my breath, the bow drawn to a full moon, and with a release of my fingers, whoosh, a faint sound of slicing through the air, almost drowned out by the wind. The arrow pierced cleanly through the rabbit's body and pinned into the snow. It kicked its legs twice, then went still, killed with a single arrow, silent and clean, without alarming even half the woods. Bleed it, retrieve the arrow, keep searching. Changbai Mountain truly is rich in resources. All kinds of tracks were crystal clear in the snow. Following the traces to find prey, drawing the bow and knocking an arrow, hitting wherever I aimed, never missing. By the end of one afternoon, I had hunted 2 more snow rabbits and 3 pheasants, nearly 20 gene altogether. Hanging behind me, they weighed heavily and tugged downward, and I felt much more at ease. With this skill, life would be easier. We'd eat the game I hunted ourselves, and trade the rest for grain and ration coupons. In an age of hunger and want, this was a way to stay alive. It was starting to get dark, night falls fast in the mountains, so I didn't go any farther in and headed back down along the original path. My steps were light, and I was already planning to go back and stew a chicken to nourish Anna and trade the rest for some grain. Thinking that with the system and my archery, I only had to endure a few more years before the golden age arrived, the corners of my mouth couldn't help lifting. Meanwhile, back in the village, Lou Erden had been wandering around outside all afternoon, and now that it was already dark, he still hadn't caught even a glimpse of me on the mountain path. His eyes shifted, a sly grin appeared on his face, and with his neck hunched and hands tucked in, he turned around and sauntered toward my house with an arrogant swagger. So, sneaking around, he headed toward Ligiania's home. The sky had completely darkened, like a huge black cloth, covering the entire Twanjitan. At the entrance to Ligiania's small courtyard, dim yellow light spilled out from the house. Anna, dressed in a thick cotton-padded jacket and a headscarf, was holding a broom, sweeping away the piled-up snow in front of the door stroke by stroke. From time to time, she looked up toward the village entrance. She was extremely anxious inside. Ligiania still hasn't come back. Could something have happened? Anna's snow-sweeping movements grew more and more restless. Just then, a sneaky figure came slowly closer out of the darkness, stepping on the snow with crunch, crunch sounds. It was Lou Erden. His neck was hunched, his hands tucked in, and his face wore an ill-intentioned smile. Yo, sweeping snow this late at night. Lou Erden stopped a few steps away from Anna, but his eyes restlessly roamed over her body. Anna frowned, stopped sweeping, and gave him a cold look. She didn't like this lazy bum from the village. Giania still not home? Lou Erden asked, though he already knew the answer, with a hint of gloating in his tone. Anna nodded and said nothing. Lou Erden let out a couple of chuckles, the sound especially harsh in the silent snowy night. Is it because there's no food left at home that Giania risked going up the mountain? In weather like this, the mountain paths aren't easy to walk. Tell me, do you think he ran into some wild beast up there? At this hour, he's probably not coming back, right? He deliberately made his words sound frightening, while his eyes stared at Anna even more brazenly. Anna tightened her grip on the broom handle and glared back. Not only was Lou Erden unafraid, he even stepped closer again, rubbing his hands together and breathing out a puff of white mist. TSK, if Giania doesn't come back, how are you going to get by from now on? It'll be hard even to get enough to eat, right? If you ask me, if you've got nothing to eat, you can come to my house. Feeding you a full meal or two wouldn't be a problem. As he spoke, his gaze grew more and more lecherous. That look made Anna feel as if sticky bugs were crawling over her, sending a shiver of revulsion through her. You. Anna was so angry that her face turned pale. She took a step back to widen the distance, her eyes full of disgust. She glared at Lou Erden, her voice tinged with anger. What nonsense are you talking about? Leave now. Seeing her angry, Lou Erden became even more excited, and the smile on his face turned lewd. Oh, don't be mad. I was just kindly concerned about you. Look at you, a woman all alone. As he spoke, he edged closer with shifty eyes, even reaching out a hand as if to grab Anna's arm. Anna's expression changed, and she raised the broom, ready to swing it. Just then, whoosh, a sharp sound cutting through the air came, carrying a faint killing intent. Thud, a muffled sound followed. Lou Erden only felt a chill on his head. The shabby cotton cap on top of his head seemed to be yanked hard by something and flew straight off. An arrow pinned his hat deeply to the nearby wooden door frame, the fletching still trembling slightly and making a faint buzzing sound. Lou Erden froze completely. A chill instantly shot from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. The arrow had almost grazed his scalp. If it had been off by even a little, his life would have been over. Cold sweat instantly soaked Lou Erden's back. Who? Lou Erden's neck was like a rusty iron axle as he twisted it around with difficulty. Not far behind him, Ligiania was holding a bough and walking over slowly. Lou Erden was stunned, thinking that Ligiania had actually returned completely unscathed. This kid was really lucky. After a brief moment of shock, a surge of anger rushed up. Lou Erden had been scared out of his wits by that arrow just now, and he felt even more humiliated, especially in front of a woman. Ligiania, are you trying to kill someone? Shooting arrows at people. Do you have any respect for the law? Faced with his accusation, Ligiania made no extra move. He merely raised his hand and slowly drew the bowstring again. The bow let out an ear-piercing creak, especially clear in the silent snowy night. A new wooden arrow was set on the string. The sharp arrowhead glinted under the dim light, precisely aimed at Lou Erden's brow. Get lost. If I see you come one step closer to my house again, the next arrow won't be your hat. The icy words were like a death sentence. Looking at the arrowhead so close before him, Lou Erden was afraid. Truly afraid. That kid Ligiania seemed different from before. That look in his eyes was terrifying, like a wolf cub from the mountains. He had no doubt that if he said one more word, or stubbornly refused to leave, at such a close distance, that arrow would definitely pierce straight through his forehead. Lou Erden swallowed and said tremblingly, I'll go. I'm going right now. He stepped back, his left foot catching his right, nearly falling. Not even bothering to retrieve the hat pinned to the doorframe. He turned and stumbled away in a panic, plunging into the night. His footsteps frantic, quickly disappearing into the darkness. Li Jianya slowly lowered the bow. Anna, who had been tense the whole time beside him, finally relaxed as well. Her legs went weak, her body swayed, and she could hardly remain standing. Supporting herself on Li Jianya's arm, she fell into his embrace. What had just happened was truly terrifying. If Li Jianya hadn't come back, she really wasn't sure she could have dealt with Lu Erden, much less what she would do to survive in this village if Li Jianya truly never returned. She turned her head to look at Li Jianya, her eyes red-rimmed as tears welled up uncontrollably. Jianya, I was scared to death. I thought you. Warm tears welled in her eyes. Li Jianya was moved. He raised his other hand and awkwardly patted Anna on the back. Anna, it's okay now. I'm here. If anyone dares bully you again, I'll make sure he never sees the sun the next day. From now on, I'll also come home as early as possible so you won't worry. Li Jianya comforted Anna. At the same time, he casually took down the game hanging behind him. 2 snow-white rabbits and 3 pheasants, all plump and meaty. Look, I'm pretty amazing, right? I brought back quite a lot from one trip up the mountain. Come on, let's go home. We're eating meat tonight. Anna widened her eyes and got a clear look at the game Li Jianya was carrying. 2 snow-white rabbits, their plump bodies looking quite hefty, and 3 pheasants, all fairly large, hanging there with a heavy weight to them. So much game. This must be more than 10 jin of meat, right? These days, even grain is in short supply. Anna hadn't eaten meat in a long time. At the sight of so much wild game, her eyes lit up. She reached out to take the game, lifting it closer to examine it carefully, as if she couldn't believe her own eyes. Li Jianya. He really did catch wild game. Jianya, you're amazing. How did I never realize it before? I kept worrying that you'd run into danger in the mountains. I never expected that not only would you come back safe and sound, you'd even bring back so much wild game. Carrying the game, Anna went into the house with Li Jianya. She placed the snow rabbits and pheasants on the old wooden table. And as her earlier shock faded a little, her worry for Li Jianya surged up again. She turned around, her gaze falling on Li Jianya as she looked him over very carefully. Jianya, you didn't run into any trouble up in the mountains, did you? You're not hurt, are you? Before Li Jianya could answer, Anna had already quickly walked up to him. She first squeezed his shoulders, they were solid. Then she ran her hands down along his arms, checking whether Li Jianya was injured. Her movements carried a bit of force, as if she wanted to make sure every inch of him was completely unharmed. Li Jianya could clearly feel that sincere concern. A faint fragrance, unlike that of ordinary rural women, drifted into his nose now and then. It was Anna's unique scent, clean and pleasant. Her inspection continued, from his arms to his chest, and then she bent down to check Li Jianya's legs. Li Jianya was left both amused and exasperated by this sudden full-body inspection. Anna's carefree personality really was. Anna, Li Jianya spoke helplessly. Stop touching me. If you keep going, something's going to happen. Anna's hands suddenly froze, stopping on his leg. This posture was rather delicate. She raised her head, and in those beautiful azure eyes, there was first confusion, then it seemed she understood something. In an instant, a captivating flush spread across Anna's fair cheeks, and even the tips of her ears turned completely red. That blush stood out especially clearly on her exotic features, like red plum blossoms blooming in the snow. As if shocked by an electric current, Anna snatched her hand back and turned around, awkwardly presenting her back to Li Jianya. I'll go cook. Her voice was a little flustered. Let's do a pheasant today. In weather this cold, you worked hard going up the mountain to hunt, so you need to nourish yourself properly and drink some chicken soup to warm up. Anna picked up the fattest pheasant on the table and walked toward the stove. In this era, supplies were scarce, especially in remote mountain villages, and there were not many seasonings available. It was impossible to turn a pheasant into all kinds of delicious dishes the way people could in later times. A simple soup with scallions and ginger is enough. Being able to drink some meat broth is already a blessing. Looking at Anna's somewhat flustered back, the corners of Li Jianya's mouth lifted slightly. Leave killing the chicken to me. Anna, you just tend the fire. He stepped forward, took the pheasant from Anna's hands, and his fingers accidentally brushed her fingertips. Anna seemed as if she'd been burned and quickly snatched her hand back. Li Jianya smiled faintly, carrying the pheasant out into the yard. He had already bled it up in the mountains, so now he deftly plucked it and gutted it. Anna crouched in front of the stove and lit the firewood. Then she stood up and scooped out the little bit of cornmeal left in the flour jar. The yellow, coarse flour, still mixed with bran, looked harsh enough to scratch the throat. Anna was going to make 2 corn cakes. Janya, this is the last bit of cornmeal in the house. There's no vegetables left either. Lee Janya's family had never been well off to begin with, and they had always been careful with their spending. A few days ago, his brother passed away, and although the funeral had been handled as simply as possible, it still cost quite a lot. If Lee Janya hadn't gone up the mountain to hunt today, then they really would have had nothing to cook. Lee Janya was cleaning the pheasant when he turned around and said with a smile, "Anna, don't worry. As long as I'm here, you won't go hungry. There will be grain, and there will be meat too. These pheasants and snow hares I caught today are just appetizers." Lee Janya knew that in these times grain was precious, and meat was even more of a rarity. If he took this game to the black market, he could definitely trade it for quite a lot of supplies. Grain coupons, cloth coupons, daily necessities. If he got lucky and hunted something big like a roe deer or a deer, it would be worth even more. For others, going into the mountains was a risk. But for him, with his godlike archery, this forest was the very foundation of the good life he would build. But Anna didn't see it that way. Lee Janya could hunt and bring back several pheasants and snow hares today, but what about tomorrow or the day after? It couldn't possibly happen every single day, could it? In the dead of winter, there weren't even any wild greens to dig up. She sighed, but her hands never stopped moving. The stove fire burned hotter and hotter. The corn cakes were cooked one by one, and the chicken soup simmering in the pot began to give off an enticing meaty aroma. The rich aroma of meat filled the air. In the neighboring yard stood a low earthen house, encircled by a crooked fence. This was a common layout in northern mountain villages, with every household having its own separate courtyard. The owner of the yard was a widow surnamed Lu. Her husband had died years ago, and she had raised the child on her own. Now, at 36 or 37, she was bent over, busy at her own stove. Though she had borne a child, her waist was still slender as a willow branch. Beside her stood a half-grown boy, her son Li Dongliang, 16 this year, and already grown quite tall. A thick, almost overpowering aroma of meat drifted into Li Dongliang's nostrils. He sniffed hard, and his eyes lit up instantly, his Adam's apple bobbing unconsciously. "Mom, do you smell that? What's that smell? Why is it so fragrant?" "It smells like meat." Widow Lu was adding firewood to the stove and didn't even look up. The pot was cooking a bland corn mush. She replied casually, "Nonsense. These days, people can barely get enough to eat. Where would a meat smell come from? You've got to be so craving crazy that even your nose is acting up." But Li Dongliang refused to give up. He sniffed again hard and pointed toward Li Janya's house next door. "No, Mom, really. It's coming from Brother Janya's house. It's real meat, for sure." Li Dongliang was so greedy for it that just thinking of that smell made his mouth water. He didn't even bother waiting for his mother's reply. There was only one thought in his mind. Go take a look. He turned and ran out of the yard, heading straight for next door to Li Janya's house. Brother Janya. He clung to the wooden doorframe and craned his head inside, his nose twitching hard, wishing he could suck all that aroma straight into his belly. "Brother Janya, what is that smell at your place? Are you eating meat?" Li Janya's voice came from the yard. "Yeah, a wild chicken I just brought back from the mountain. I stewed a pot of soup." Li Dongliang's eyes went wide as saucers, as if he had heard something unbelievable. "Brother Janya, you went up the mountain hunting? There are bears and tigers up there. That's terrifying. No one in our village dares go up the mountain anymore." Li Dongliang wasn't wrong. The beasts in the deep mountains and old forests were all fierce. Aside from hunters occasionally going into the mountains to catch some game for a bit of meat, ordinary people simply didn't dare enter the mountains. Quite a few people had been devoured by wild beasts there. It is pretty dangerous. I was just a bit luckier. I walked around the outskirts a few times and caught a few wild chickens, plus 2 snow hares, to improve the meals at home a bit. Hearing Li Janya's words, Li Dongliang sucked in a sharp breath. "Several? More than one." He looked around inside, and sure enough saw those game animals lying there motionless. "Brother Janya, you're amazing." The cooked wild chicken in the pot was still giving off waves of fragrance. Li Dongliang couldn't help swallowing, his eyes fixed on the steam drifting out of the room. The aroma grew even stronger. "Brother Janya, that meat? It smells so good it's killing me." Li Janya looked at the half-grown boy clinging to the doorframe, practically drooling. A few scenes from the past flashed through his mind. Life hadn't been easy for widow Lu's family next door. Her husband had died in an accident years ago, leaving behind a widow and her child. Widow Lu had raised Li Dongliang all by herself to this age. She was strong-willed. No one had ever seen her quarrel with anyone, nor had she ever begged anyone for help. She had stubbornly kept the household going with her own strength and a few meager plots of farmland. That kid Li Dongliang had followed behind Li Jianya since he was little, calling him Brother Jianya with great affection. Li Jianya smiled and asked gently, "Want some?" Li Dongliang nodded hard, the longing in his eyes almost overflowing. Home. I could smell it all the way from home. It's driving me crazy, Brother Jianya." Li Jianya jerked his chin toward the room. "If you want some, then come in. Why be so polite with me? There's still plenty in the pot." Li Dongliang's eyes lit up even more, but then immediately dimmed, and he waved his hands again and again. No, I can't just eat your food for nothing. My mom would beat me if she found out." This kid had really been taught well by Aunt Lu. He knew he couldn't take advantage of others. Li Jianya felt a bit more admiration for him. Li Dongliang slurped back the drool that was about to come out, his eyes darting around, then turned and ran outside. "Brother Jianya, wait for me. I'm going home to get something to trade you for some meat." He moved so fast, as if he feared that if he was one step late, the meat would be gone. Li Jianya looked at his flustered, hurried figure and shook his head helplessly. Before long, Li Dongliang came running back, clutching a bulging coarse cloth sack in his arms with half a sack of coarse grain inside, while in his other hand, he carried several big Chinese cabbages. The cabbages were a little wilted, but in the dead of winter, having vegetables at all was already good enough. He ran up to Li Jianya and set the things on the ground. "Brother Jianya, do you think this will do?" He pointed at the things on the ground. "My mom told me to bring these over, and a few cabbages too, to trade with you for one wild chicken. Half a sack of cornmeal, probably around 20 jin, along with 2 or 3 winter-stored cabbages. It was enough to trade for a wild chicken to enjoy something fresh. And it would also help ease the situation at Li Jianya's home, where they were barely able to put food on the table." Li Jianya did not refuse. After accepting them, he turned and went into the house, then brought out a wild chicken. He stuffed the chicken into Li Dongliang's arms. "Take it. This wild chicken is very plump. It must weigh 3 or 4 jin." Holding the wild chicken, Li Dongliang's eyes lit up, and he looked as if he could hardly wait to open his mouth and take a bite right out of it. "Thank you, Brother Jianya. I'm heading back." Holding the wild chicken, he ran back home again without even looking back. Li Jianya carried the half sack of coarse grain and the few wilted cabbages back into the house, set them in the corner by the wall, and patted the dust off his hands. "Anna, look, now we have vegetables to eat. And grain is taken care of too." Anna looked at the half sack of cornmeal, then at the few cabbages. She frowned slightly. A little over 20 jin of cornmeal was indeed enough for her and Li Jianya to eat for quite a while. But what about after they finished it? Today Li Jianya had caught prey and traded it for grain. But could he catch prey again tomorrow? And the day after tomorrow? Winter in the north is long. If heavy snow blocked the roads, they wouldn't even be able to leave the village. With just these few vegetables and this half sack of coarse grain, it probably wouldn't last long. There was still a trace of up in her voice. But Li Jianya was not flustered at all. There was plenty of game in the mountains, so there was no need to worry about having nothing to eat. "Don't worry, Anna. Tomorrow we'll naturally have tomorrow's food to eat. With me here, you don't have to worry about meals. Let's drink the chicken soup first." The chicken soup in the pot was still simmering over a low fire, its aroma growing richer and filling the entire little house. At Li Jianya's reminder, Anna quickly stepped forward with a large ladle and carefully skimmed off the foam, then ladled out a big bowl of steaming chicken soup. Golden chicken fat floated on the surface, looking utterly tempting. She carried the bowl to the table and even specially fished the plumpest drumstick out of the pot and placed it in the bowl. Finally, Anna pushed the bowl in front of Li Jianya. "Jianya, you must be exhausted from going up the mountain to hunt, so you need to eat more." Looking at the heaping bowl of chicken soup in front of him, Li Jianya then looked at Anna standing nearby, as if she could hardly bear to eat any herself. His heart stirred slightly. Although Anna was a foreigner, after marrying into the family, she had always behaved properly and silently taken care of the household. Before this, because the eldest brother had been bedridden and the former owner of this body couldn't shoulder any responsibility, Anna had been the one busy with everything inside and outside the home. Farming, chopping firewood, washing clothes, cooking, she did every one of them extremely well. It could truly be said that she was a virtuous wife and loving mother. Li Jianya did not immediately pick up his chopsticks. Instead, he picked up a ladle and scooped himself a spoonful of rich soup from the pot, then picked up the other drumstick and placed it into an empty bowl in front of Anna. "Anna, this family made it to today, thanks to you holding it together. You're the one who's worked the hardest in this family. Eat more and build yourself up." Anna froze for a moment and wanted to decline. But when she saw Li Jianya's sincere gaze, there was no politeness in his eyes, only genuine concern. A warm current silently flowed through her heart. She felt that the Li Jianya before her really was different from before, no longer that child who only knew how to fool around and had no idea how to care for others. Perhaps Li Wei's death had made Li Jianya come to his senses. Anna picked up her spoon and sipped the chicken soup in small mouthfuls. She also hoped that life really could keep getting better and better. She did not ask for much, only hoped that she and her younger sister could have someone reliable to depend on and a stable life. Anna favorability +5, the system's notification sounded in Li Jianya's mind. He hadn't expected that just having a meal with Anna would actually increase her favorability. Anna's favorability was now 25, and every 20 points of favorability increase earned one chance to draw a prize. Li Jianya was a little eager for the next prize draw. It seemed he had to spend more time building a relationship with Anna. Meanwhile, at Widow Lu's house next door, the room was likewise filled with a rich aroma of meat. It was the wild chicken Li Dongliang had traded coarse grain for, and by now it had already been stewed until tender, with a thick broth. Li Dongliang kept his head down, clutching a large coarse porcelain bowl, eating with grease all over his mouth. He tore at the chicken leg meat with his hands and stuffed it into his mouth in big bites, his cheeks bulging. His eyes narrowed into slits in satisfaction. Widow Lu sat on the edge of the Kong, and watching her son wolf down the food, a smile appeared on her face as well. She had only this one child. Even if life was a little hard, she would never let the child suffer, which was why she had let Li Dongliang take the family's grain to trade with Li Jianya for meat. Widow Lu held needle and thread in her hands, mending an old piece of clothing. Smelling the aroma of meat, her thoughts drifted a little. Had that boy Jianya really changed? He used to be like a child who never grew up, wandering aimlessly around the village all day, loafing around. Even the firewood the family burned in winter had to be gathered from the mountainside by his Anna, and chopped into pieces one by one. Now Li Jianya actually dared to go hunting in the mountains? And he really caught something. Not just one, but rabbits too. No one would believe it if word got out that Li Jianya had gone hunting. When other people hunt, they're either seasoned hunters or groups of strong young men with hunting rifles and tools, fully equipped, and even then they might not catch much prey. With Li Jianya's thin arms and legs, no matter how you looked at him, he didn't seem like someone with that kind of ability. Yet after one trip into the mountains, he brought back quite a few wild chickens and snow rabbits. What good luck! Widow Lu was thinking all sorts of random thoughts, while Li Dongliang beside her only cared about eating. "Mom, this chicken is so fragrant," Li Dongliang shouted indistinctly. He licked his greasy lips. He was extremely satisfied with this meal. But seeing that there was not much left of the whole wild chicken after being eaten, Li Dongliang felt a little regretful. There'd be none left to eat tomorrow. If only he could eat meat every day. "Mom, how about I go hunting with Brother Jianya?" Hearing this, Widow Lu's face immediately darkened. She put down the sewing in her hands and looked at Li Dongliang with a serious expression. "No, you stay home honestly. Don't you know how dangerous those mountains are? The reason your brother Jianya managed to catch something this time was because he was lucky. What if next time you run into a black bear or a tiger? You're my only son. If anything happened to you, how could your mother go on living?" Widow Lu's eyes reddened a little, and her voice choked with emotion. Li Dongliang was startled by his mother's sudden sternness, and his excitement from just now was instantly doused like a basin of cold water had been poured over it. Looking at the worry in his mother's eyes, he opened his mouth, but in the end didn't dare say anything more. He got up on his own to clear the bowls and chopsticks from the table, and added firewood to the Kong stove as well. In those days, there wasn't even a television in the village. The whole village was pitch black, and everyone went to sleep early. The next day, before the sky was fully bright, at Li Jianya's home, a rich aroma of meat was already drifting through the air, along with the soft crackling of burning firewood. Li Jianya was tending the stove, adding firewood to the firebox. Stewing in the clay pot was a wild chicken left over from yesterday. Golden chicken fat floated on the rolling broth, and the aroma forcefully seeped into every corner of the room. Anna, sleeping on the Kong, stirred. Her long eyelashes trembled, and the meaty aroma made her stomach rumble nonstop. She threw on an outer garment and got off the Kong. Looking at Li Jianya busy at the stove and at the pot of fragrant chicken soup, Anna's beautiful eyes shifted slightly, feeling a bit sorry for the meat. "Jianya, why are you stewing it again? We need to eat this meat sparingly. If we eat it all now, what will we eat later?" After getting used to hard times, the instinct is to save, and if there's anything good to eat, to keep it and eat it slowly. Li Jianya turned around and smiled at her. Anna, you're awake? It's fine. Isn't meat meant to be eaten? After we finish it, I'll just go into the mountains and get some more later. Yesterday he had gone in a hurry, and Li Jianya had only wandered around the outermost area a little, never going deep in at all. Today he had gotten up at dawn because he wanted to make another trip, to bring back more game and trade it for more grain and daily necessities. Seeing how casually Li Jianya spoke, Anna still couldn't help but worry. The mountains are still too dangerous. Yesterday was just good luck, but luck can't fill your stomach. What if you run into? She didn't continue. Li Jianya poked at the fire in the stove, then patted the dust off his hands. Don't worry, Anna, I know what I'm doing. Besides, I haven't married a wife yet, so I definitely have to cherish my life. He knew Anna was worried about him, so he spoke half-jokingly, wanting to put her mind at ease. When Anna heard him mention marrying a wife, a faint smile appeared on her face. That's true. In a couple of days, I'll go bring my younger sister Elsa over, and let you two meet. You can spend time together first and build some feelings. Li Jianya hadn't expected Anna to really take this matter to heart, but right now he was wholly focused on making life better. As for marrying a wife, once life improved, it would only be something to take care of along the way. Breakfast was soon ready. Thick, milky white chicken soup and chicken stewed until tender, paired with 2 coarse-grained flatbreads. Though simple, in this era of scarcity, it was already a rare delicacy. After eating and drinking his fill, Li Jianya slung his bow and arrows over his back and gathered the tools he would need in the mountains. He was getting ready to head up the mountain. Anna watched from the side, the worry in her eyes still impossible to hide. She wanted to stop Li Jianya from going. Jianya, you must be careful in the mountains and don't go deep into the dense forest. If it really won't work, then let's just not go. Seeing that Anna truly couldn't put her mind at ease and looked very insecure, Li Jianya hesitated for a moment, then reached out and gently hugged her. Anna, just wait for me at home without worry. I'll definitely come back. This sudden embrace made Anna's body stiffen for a moment. By the time she came back to her senses, Li Jianya had already gone out the door. She gazed at Li Jianya's departing figure, her heart pounding like a startled deer and her thoughts drifting. Anna favorability +2. Li Jianya went out and passed by the courtyard of Widow Lu's house next door. So early in the morning, the courtyard was very quiet. But at the doorway, there was a figure crouching and constantly peeking outside. The moment he saw Li Jianya, the wooden door creaked and was carefully pushed open a crack. Li Dongliang stuck his head out and quickly ran out. Brother Jianya, Li Dongliang called out in a lowered voice and hurried over to Li Jianya. The boy still had the bleary look of not being fully awake on his face, but his eyes were full of excitement he couldn't hide. Brother Jianya, are you going hunting again? Take me with you? Looking at the bow and arrows on Li Jianya's back, he knew right away that Li Jianya was definitely going hunting. Last night, he had brought up going hunting with Li Jianya to his mother, but Widow Lu refused, so he had no choice but to give it up. But now, seeing Li Jianya about to head into the mountains, Li Dongliang could hardly contain his excitement. He wanted to eat meat every day. As for the dangers of going up the mountain, they had long since been thrown to the back of his mind. Li Dongliang rubbed his hands together, his tone a little ingratiating. Brother Jianya, I'm strong and can help carry things for you. When the time comes, just give me a little meat, just a tiny bit will do. As he spoke, he secretly glanced toward his own house, afraid his mother might notice him. And then he wouldn't be able to follow Li Jianya up the mountain. Li Jianya's steps paused. He sized Li Dongliang up. Though the kid wasn't very old, he looked quite sturdy and was also very capable at farm work. Although the prey he had caught yesterday wasn't much, if he really did bag something big or caught a lot, it would indeed be tough for one person to bring it back from the mountains. Having an extra helper would save quite a bit of effort. Li Jianya nodded. All right, but let's make this clear first. The mountains are dangerous, and you have to listen to me in everything. Seeing that Li Jianya agreed, a broad smile instantly spread across Li Dongliang's face, and he nodded vigorously. Hey, don't worry, Brother Jianya. I'll definitely listen to you. At the village entrance, by the base of an earthen wall near a house, Lu Erden was half squatting and half leaning there. He had a grass stem in his mouth, his eyes wandering, while he talked animatedly to several middle-aged women sitting around him. If you ask me, that Zhang family's daughter-in-law, the way her waist sways. His words were laced with innuendo, drawing a burst of laughter from the older women, mixed with a few spits and curses. At that moment, Li Jianya just happened to be walking over from the other end of the village at an unhurried pace. When Lu Erden saw him, he couldn't help but think again of Li Jianya's Anna, with that skin so white. Heh, speaking of it, Li Jianya's foreign girl is actually pretty nice too. A plump woman jabbed him with her elbow. You, Lu Erden, never say anything decent. Lu Erden chuckled, revealing a mouthful of yellow teeth. I'm telling the truth. That foreign woman, although she's not very well liked because of her nationality, that skin of hers, tsk, it's like a peeled egg, so incredibly fair and tender. He smacked his lips, his eyes full of greed. But do you know what the key point is? Lu Erden deliberately built suspense. His older brother Li Jianguo is a sickly man, the kind who'd keel over in a strong wind. Tell me, with a body like that, what could he possibly do? If you ask me, that Anna of his is probably still a virgin. The moment he said this, the area around them fell silent for an instant. The older women looked at one another. Some had expressions of contempt on their faces, while others seemed to have had some sort of thought stirred up. One woman let out a scornful laugh. Erden, I'd say you're a toad lusting after swan meat. You must be out of your mind. You think she'd ever take a liking to you? Yeah, why don't you piss and take a look at yourself? Lu Erden didn't get angry, but instead puffed out his chest, looking utterly shameless. Can't a man at least think about it? Just then, a booming voice came from not far away. What are you all gathered here for? Nothing better to do? Everyone turned toward the sound and saw the brigade leader walking over with a stern face and his hands behind his back. He was wearing a faded blue cadre uniform, his steps firm, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. He had heard all of Lu Erden's filthy talk just now. Lu Erden, all day long. Besides gossiping, can you do anything proper? He walked up to Lu Erden and almost pointed at his nose as he cursed him out. Other people's family matters are none of your business to yap about here. Watch your mouth. We tell you to work hard and support the development, but instead you spend every day thinking about this useless crap. If you've got nothing better to do, go haul water. Go cut pig grass. Stop standing here making a fool of yourself. Lu Erden shrank his neck from the scolding, his face flushing red and white by turns, not daring to make another sound. As they were talking, Li Jianya also walked over to their side. Li Jianya had that somewhat old-fashioned bow slung over his shoulder, with a small bundle of arrows with uneven fletching hanging beside it. The attention of several old women was instantly drawn over. Jianya, what's this? One sharp-eyed woman pointed at the bow and arrows on his back, curiosity on her face. Going hunting? Li Jianya stopped and nodded. Going into the mountains to try my luck. Hunting? The plump woman from earlier looked him up and down a few times, as if she'd heard something funny, curled her lip, and couldn't help laughing. With that little build of yours? She made no effort to hide her doubt. That bow, can you even draw it all the way? The words were full of obvious contempt, and a few snickers rose around them again. Li Dongliang wanted to say a few words in Jianyaji's defense, but Li Jianya gently pressed a hand on him, signaling that he didn't need to speak. His face remained calm, as if he hadn't taken those words to heart at all. The brigade leader frowned and stepped forward too. Having just finished scolding Lu Erden, his expression still didn't look very good. He looked at Li Jianya with the sternness of an elder. Jianya, what nonsense are you up to? Don't you know how dangerous the mountains are? Li Jianya met the brigade leader's gaze without flinching. Brigade leader, my elder brother is gone. Now I'm the only man left in this family. I have to find a way to get more food. I can't let Anna go hungry with me. These few words rang out with force, and the area fell silent at once. The expressions on the faces of the women who had been watching for entertainment also turned a little complicated. That's right, the eldest son of the Li family, that sickly one, was gone, leaving behind a young foreign wife. And this younger brother, who couldn't shoulder much responsibility. How were they supposed to live like this? Lu Erden, who had been standing there with his neck tucked in and not saying a word, let his shifty eyes dart around. The filthy thoughts in his heart started stirring again. He felt his chance had come, deliberately cleared his throat, and moved forward with a leering grin. Hey, if you ask me, if Jianya can't handle taking care of Anna, then I, your brother here, can help take over. Lu Erden deliberately drew out his words, waggling his eyebrows and grinning wide. And his yellow teeth plus that sleazy look made people want to puke at a glance. He patted his chest, looking as if he were taking everything on himself. Look at me, I'm single too, aren't I? My family may not be rich, but feeding one more person is no problem at all. As soon as he said this, the expressions on the faces of the women around them were full of disdain. Everyone knew very well what sort of image Lu Erden had, and what kind of hoodlum he was. If he were any kind of decent person, he wouldn't still be single in his 30s. If Anna really married a bastard like that, then that would truly be the end of it. In Li Jianya's eyes, which had originally been calm, there was now something like blades, fixed deadly on Lu Erden's lecherous face. Liu Erden was actually still setting his sights on Anna. He really had no idea what was good for him. Liu Erden's heart gave a violent jolt under that stare, and the hair on his back stood up a little. But then he thought it over. With so many people here, and the brigade leader here too, could Li Jianya really dare to hit him? Relying on that thought, not only did he not back away. Instead, he became even more brazenly shameless, craning his neck and flashing Li Jianya a grin that revealed a mouthful of tar-yellow teeth stained by smoke. His face plainly saying, "What can you do to me? What an ass, such a damn ass." In Li Jianya's heart, Liu Erden had already made the must-die list. One hand slowly reached toward the arrow at his back. At this moment, the brigade captain at the side saw that something was wrong, and hurried over to press down Li Jianya's hand, then turned and glared at Liu Erden again. "Get lost." Liu Erden slunk away resentfully. Then the brigade captain looked again at Li Jianya's thin but upright back. As the brigade captain, he didn't feel good about it either. The illness of the Li family's eldest son had drained the family savings and broken the people too. Now that he was gone, he had left behind this foreign wife from the Bear Country, who already stood out in this mountain hollow, and now had become even more like duckweed with no roots. And there was also a younger brother who couldn't shoulder much responsibility. Though he looked a bit more spirited now, hunting is a livelihood. How could that be such an easy job? In the Changbai Mountains, let alone ferocious beasts, even a fall or a twisted ankle could cost a person their life. He sighed, and his tone softened a little. "Jianya, don't stoop to his level. If something really happens, then your family truly won't even have a man left. And about going up the mountain to hunt, I know times are hard, and you're anxious, but hunting really isn't child's play. One little slip, and you'll lose your life." The brigade captain paused, considered for a moment, as if remembering something. "Right, I have an idea. In our village, old Zhang's son, Carpenter Zhang, you know him, right?" Li Jianya knew him. Carpenter Zhang was in his late 30s, nearly 40 this year. His craftsmanship was good, and he was honest and hardworking. It's just that his wife died years ago, and he never remarried, living alone ever since. The brigade captain continued. "Old Zhang is hardworking, and his family circumstances are fairly decent. He doesn't have any burdens either, just himself alone. I think, how about letting your Anna get to know him? If this works out, not only will your Anna have someone to rely on, but you can also learn some craft skills from Carpenter Zhang in the future. It's a way to make a living." As soon as he said that, several old women nearby who were watching the commotion also nodded along. "That's right. The brigade captain's idea is good. Old Zhang is capable, and he knows how to care for people. If this really works out, and they become a family, it would be good for your Anna, and good for Li Jianya too. Isn't that better than going into the mountains and risking your life? Jianya, listen to your auntie's advice. Don't go up the mountain today. In this freezing weather, it won't do if you get frostbitten. Go home and talk to your Anna about this. And let the two of them meet as soon as possible. Then every problem will be solved." They talked over one another. Li Jianya knew that although these old women were somewhat gossipy, in these hard times, they truly did hope that Li Jianya's family could keep on living. But Li Jianya definitely could not take their advice. That was his Anna, left to him by his elder brother. Could he let someone else steal away the foreign Anna he already had in hand? Involuntarily, Li Jianya's mind conjured up Anna's beautiful image of blonde hair and blue eyes, as well as the favorability on the system panel. Anna's favorability, 27, maybe, in other people's eyes, marrying her off to old Zhang really was a safe and reliable choice. But Li Jianya slowly shook his head. His gaze was firm. "No need. I will take care of Anna with my own abilities." After saying that, Li Jianya turned his head, his steps not pausing in the slightest, and walked straight toward the mountains. "Brother Jianya, wait for me." Li Dongliang jogged after him. The brigade captain still wanted to stop Li Jianya from going up the mountain, but in the blink of an eye, those two figures were already about to disappear around the bend at the end of the road. He sighed helplessly. Several old women gathered around and pointed in the direction Li Jianya had gone. "That child is quite stubborn. Is the mountain really such an easy place to go? Do you really think hunting is as easy as gathering firewood? Every year, people go in and never come out. Weren't his parents, a few years back, taken by a black bear and Sai, who still dares to venture deep into the mountains now?" Li Daqiang tapped his pipe against the sole of his shoe. He had watched Li Jianya grow up, and he knew very well what kind of person Li Jianya was. Spending all day fooling around, like a child who couldn't shoulder any responsibility. Hunting, that's really not something you can do with just a burst of recklessness. It couldn't solve the root problem of Li Jianya's family's hard life. The proper thing was to have Li Jianya's Anna remarry as soon as possible. Otherwise, with Li Jianya's stubborn streak, something was bound to happen sooner or later. He had to find a time to have a good talk with that foreign wife. If she married Carpenter Zhang, not only would she have someone to rely on, Jianya could also learn a trade along with him. That was the real path to a good life. Li Daqiang mulled it over and felt this matter could not be delayed any longer. He had to find a time to go to Li Jianya's home and have a proper talk about it, and do some ideological work on them. Meanwhile, Li Jianya and Li Dongliang plunged straight into the mountains. The mountain wind howled, bitterly cold. The two wandered around the outer area for a while, and found some animal tracks, but did not see any animals themselves. So Li Jianya decided to go a little deeper. Li Dongliang tightened his ragged padded jacket. Looking at the dense forest deep in the mountains, his steps somewhat hesitant. That pitch-black forest seemed as if it could swallow people whole. Usually, no one really dared go in. Brother Jianya, how about we keep looking around outside a bit longer? In these deep woods, if we run into something after going in. Li Jianya waved his hand. At the outskirts, at most you'll only run into a few pheasants or wild rabbits. But if we go deeper, maybe we'll come across roe deer or something. That's a lot more meat than a pheasant. We're not going in that deep anyway. Just a little farther and we'll be fine. As he spoke, Li Jianya strode forward. He was going to make a living by hunting. Not only did he have to take care of Anna, he also wanted to marry a foreign wife in the future, so he was definitely going into the deep forest. Without risk, where would the reward come from? With his godlike archery, as long as he didn't run into a wolf pack, Li Jianya really had nothing to fear. Behind him, Li Dongliang's heart was pounding. Just then, a pheasant's cry suddenly pierced the silence. Li Jianya's eyes lit up. He grabbed the bow and arrows from his back and, crouching low, darted into the woods. Wait for me, Brother Jianya. Not having prey was one thing, but hearing a pheasant cry was another matter entirely. With prey right before their eyes, Li Dongliang did not hesitate either and ran after Li Jianya. Pushing aside layer after layer of branches, Li Dongliang, panting, followed behind Li Jianya. He saw Li Jianya draw his bow and nock an arrow, his movements smooth and fluid, as he took aim at a pheasant pecking for food. With a whoosh, the arrow shot through the air and struck the pheasant precisely in the neck. The pheasant flapped a few times, then went still. What great archery! Li Dongliang cried out in surprise, and the fear in his heart instantly faded by more than half, replaced by excitement. He trotted over eagerly, picked up the pheasant, and his face bloomed with joy. Brother Jianya, you're amazing. Li Jianya smiled faintly and readied his bow and arrows again. This is only the beginning. With the first prey in hand, Li Dongliang was full of enthusiasm and began helping Li Jianya look for traces of prey. After making a round, Brother Jianya, look over there. It seems like there's something. Li Dongliang pointed at a patch of brush not far away. A pair of antlers is sticking out there. If nothing unexpected happened, it should be a roe deer. Before he had even finished speaking, there came a whoosh. Li Jianya's arrow had already flown out. The roe deer's cry rang out through the mountains and forest, and Li Dongliang ran over without a second word. Brother Jianya, your archery is simply godlike. He praised Li Jianya's archery lavishly, while, under Li Jianya's guidance, he smoothly cut open the roe deer's carotid artery to bleed it out. Brother Jianya, this is way too professional. My mom even said that you getting that pheasant was just luck, but I don't think so at all. You've really got skill, Brother Jianya. Li Jianya paid no attention to Li Dongliang. Instead, he looked into the distance and thought, roe deer are herd animals. There's no way there would be only this one. There must be other roe deer nearby. Go look around. Hearing Li Jianya's words, Li Dongliang immediately got excited too. And after quickly dealing with the roe deer in his hands, he followed Li Jianya and continued searching through the woods. Sure enough, just as Li Jianya had thought, they hadn't gone far before they spotted two adult roe deer 50 meters away. The two roe deer were looking around, seemingly unsure what they were watching, but from the looks of it, they were probably a family of 3 with that young roe deer from earlier. Li Jianya's gaze sharpened, and he once again drew his bow and nocked an arrow. A family should be together neat and tidy. Whoosh! Li Jianya fired 2 arrows at once, and the 2 roe deer 50 meters away also fell into pools of blood. Li Dongliang was completely dumbfounded. Brother Jianya, amazing. From 50 meters away, firing 2 arrows at once and hitting directly. Calling you a master archer wouldn't be an exaggeration. Li Dongliang, who had grown up trailing behind Li Jianya since childhood, simply couldn't believe that Li Jianya's archery could be this superb. With archery like this, if you went into the deep mountains, what kind of game wouldn't you be able to get? Those pheasants and hares from yesterday. Brother Jianya was holding back. Brother Jianya, When you have time in the future, you have to teach me archery. It's so cool. It's been less than half a day, and we've already taken 3 roe deer. If I had archery this good, wouldn't I be eating meat every day? As Li Dongliang spoke, he ran over and bled these 2 roe deer again. Li Jianya followed behind, secretly laughing to himself. You still want to learn archery? Archery this good isn't something you can just learn whenever you want. Besides, in this day and age, what's the point of learning archery? It's definitely not as good as using a gun. Those things pack a lot of power. Li Jianya stepped forward and, together with Li Dongliang, bled and processed these 2 roe deer as well. Afterward, they gathered up their haul and continued roaming in the mountains. By the afternoon, they had taken a family of 3 roe deer, 1 deer for pheasants, and a nest of 5 snow hares. The harvest was so abundant that it far exceeded Li Dongliang's imagination. Li Jianya was responsible for the killing, while Li Dongliang followed behind taking care of the prey. He was exhausted and drenched in sweat, but inside he was overjoyed. Brother Jianya, you're freaking amazing. From now on, I'll follow your lead. If we bring all this meat back, it'll scare my mom half to death. Brother Jianya, how about we go a little farther in? We're so lucky today. Maybe we'll even run into something bigger. This half-day's haul had already made him completely overconfident. Fear? Danger? They had long since been swept beyond the clouds by the joy of returning fully loaded. Li Jianya, however, did not respond immediately. His eyes were carefully scanning the surrounding snow. On a patch of snow not far ahead, there were several clear tracks. The prints were large, deeply sunken into the snow, with faint dragged marks along the edges. Absolutely not something a deer or roe deer could leave behind. Farther away, on the trunk of a pine tree as thick as a bowl, several claw marks deep enough to expose the wood stood out starkly. A chill instantly shot up from the soles of Li Jianya's feet. Those were traces of a blind bear's activity. Some information about the original host's parents surfaced in Li Jianya's mind. Both of Li Jianya's parents had died at the jaws of a blind bear. That thing has thick hide and tough flesh, really hard to deal with. Even though Li Jianya had god-tier archery and believed he was capable of confronting it, he still felt an instinctive fear, and one careless mistake could cost him his life. Anna was still at home waiting for him. If he had a hunting rifle, he could be a bit bolder. After thinking it over, Li Jianya tightened his grip on the hunting bow in his hand and shouted to Li Dongliang, who still wanted to go deeper in. We're leaving. That's it for today. Li Dongliang was in the middle of getting excited and froze when he heard that. Huh? Why, Brother Jianya? We just got into the groove. Look at this haul. When I get back, my mom will definitely... Shut up. Li Jianya barked in a low voice, signaling with his eyes for him to look at the tracks in the snow. Look for yourself. What is that? Li Dongliang followed the direction he pointed and looked over, at first somewhat dismissive. But when he saw the huge footprints and the claw marks on the tree trunk clearly, the smile on his face instantly froze. This is... He wasn't stupid. He knew very well what this kind of sign meant. A blind bear? Li Jianya did not answer directly, but the grave expression on his face already said it all. A bear, a blind bear. Li Dongliang's voice suddenly rose. As the terrifying descriptions everyone gave of blind bears surfaced in his mind, instantly snapping him out of his feverish excitement. It was only then that he realized he was already deep inside the forest. In these deep mountains and old forests, anything can be out here, and danger is everywhere. Li Dongliang's legs began to tremble, and any thoughts of continuing the hunt or finding even bigger game were all thrown to the back of his mind. Right now, he only wanted to leave this damn place immediately. Go, go, go. Brother Jianya, let's go. Li Dongliang no longer cared about anything else and hurriedly hung the pheasants and snow hares on himself in a fluster, then rushed to drag the heaviest male roe deer, as if being even one step slower would cause the deep forest to swallow him whole. Li Jianya said no more and also hoisted the heavy prey onto his shoulder, following the path they had come by and slowly heading out of the mountains. Today's harvest was plentiful. He should get home early to keep Anna from worrying too much. Tuanjia village. As evening drew near, Widow Lu stood at the gate of her courtyard, anxious and restless. She hadn't seen her son all day and had no idea where the boy had run off to. Dongliang, Dongliang, where did that dead brat run off to? Widow Lu frowned tightly as she searched everywhere along the village road. At that moment, she saw Lu Erden wandering around with a grass stalk in his mouth. Widow Lu hurried over. Erden, have you seen my Dongliang? Lu Erden glanced at Widow Lu's anxious expression and recalled that he had seen Li Dongliang following Li Jianya up the mountain that morning, and immediately understood that Li Dongliang must have gone up the mountain behind Widow Lu's back. So he said with a smile, Dongliang? This morning, I saw him heading up the mountain with Li Jianya. Looked like they were going hunting. They still aren't back now. Don't tell me they ran into a blind bear. Lu Erden was the kind who loved to stir up trouble. Whatever sounded the scariest was what he said, practically hoping Li Jianya had really run into a blind bear and died on the mountain. And when Widow Lu heard that, her face turned deathly pale in an instant. He went up the mountain? Up the mountain. It's almost completely dark. How dangerous it is in the mountains. Never mind wild beasts. Even if it just gets dark and the path turns slippery, a fall could cause trouble. Her son was only 16 years old. What did he know? This child. Does he have a death wish? Widow Lu's lips trembled, and tears instantly welled up in her eyes. She didn't know what to do. At this moment, the only thing she could think of was to find someone for help. In Tuanjia village, she didn't know whether others could be relied on, but the brigade leader treated people very well. Whenever Widow Lu's family had any difficulties, the brigade leader would also organize people to help. Widow Lu turned around and ran toward the other end of the village. Brigade leader! Brigade leader! Widow Lu cried and shouted as she ran, her voice shrill with anguish. Li Daqiang was just discussing with his wife about finding time to visit Li Jianya's home, to do some ideological work and find another husband for Anna. Hearing the commotion, he hurried out. What's going on? What happened? Widow Lu's eyes were brimming with tears. Brigade leader, our Dongliang followed Jianya up the mountain to hunt, and now it's almost dark and they still haven't come back. If anything happens to him, how am I supposed to go on living? He's my only son. As soon as Li Daqiang heard this, his brows knit tightly. This morning he had already told Li Jianya that going up the mountain to hunt was not a good idea. But Li Jianya insisted on having his own way. And now look, there isn't a single bit of news. Not only is there no sign of any game, even the people have disappeared with no trace. It's too late to say anything now. Human life is at stake. There can be no delay. What if Li Jianya and the others can still be saved? We must quickly organize people to go look for them. Li Daqiang made a prompt decision, turned around, went back into the house, and grabbed the hunting rifle stored at home, then headed toward the center of the village. As he walked, he shouted at the top of his voice. One person from every household, come out, grab your gear, and follow me up the mountain to look for them. Those two boys, Jianya and Dongliang, still haven't come back from the mountain even though it's dark. Very soon, kerosene lamps and pine torch flares were lit one after another. People in this era had a strong sense of collectivism. Hearing that human lives were involved, they all picked up machetes and shovels, and some even carried spears. A group of people followed the brigade leader out of the village. At Li Jianya's home, Anna heard the commotion outside, and her heart instantly tightened. She hurried out and followed along. In her heart, she kept praying, hoping that nothing had happened to Li Jianya. Lu Erden was also mixed in with the crowd, hands tucked in his sleeves, looking like he was enjoying the spectacle and afraid nothing big would happen, his eyes glancing toward Anna from time to time. The group had just reached the village entrance. Someone with sharp eyes, using the light of the torches, spotted two figures in the distance. Look, everyone, is that Jianya and Dongliang coming back? The man rubbed his eyes, not daring to be sure. It really does seem to be them. The crowd immediately stirred, and their pace quickened considerably. Widow Lu's heart leaped into her throat, and she stumbled forward as she ran. When they got closer, by the firelight, it really was Li Jianya and Li Dongliang. Widow Lu could no longer control herself and rushed over crying and shouting. You wretched boy, where did you run off to? You worried me to death. Mom, I'm fine. Li Dongliang, held so tightly by Widow Lu that he could barely breathe, said softly. You child, why are you so disobedient? Why did you insist on going up the mountain? If something had happened, how was your mother supposed to go on living? Widow Lu cried and scolded at the same time, but her hands held Li Dongliang tightly and would not let go. Li Dongliang lowered his head and didn't dare speak. Seeing that Li Jianya and Li Dongliang had returned safely, everyone also breathed a sigh of relief. The stone weighing on their hearts had finally dropped. Anna hurried forward, her face full of worry, and asked with concern in fairly fluent Chinese, Jianya, are you okay? Are you hurt? Looking at the worry in Anna's eyes, Li Jianya felt a warmth in his heart and said with a smile, Anna, I'm fine, completely fine. Look, I even brought back a lot of game. Only then did Anna notice that Li Jianya was carrying many things on his back. There were even some more dragging behind him, all kinds of game, pheasants, rabbits, roe deer, and even a deer. The brigade leader, Li Daqiang, was just about to step forward and lecture Li Jianya a bit, telling him not to go into the mountains so casually again in the future. But when he saw the game Li Jianya had brought back, he froze on the spot. His gaze swept back and forth over the game slung on Li Jianya's body and dragged in his hands. Pheasants, rabbits, roe deer, and even a fairly large deer. This amount was simply too astonishing. Li Daqiang took a few steps forward, the firelight illuminating his face full of shock. Jianya, Dongliang, these were all brought back by you too? His voice was filled with disbelief. Li Dongliang subconsciously shrank back behind Widow Lu and quickly shook his head. Brigade leader, it had nothing to do with me. I just followed Brother Jianya to broaden my horizons and helped carry a few things along the way. All this game was hunted by Brother Jianya alone. Li Daqiang stared at Li Jianya, his gaze falling on the seemingly ordinary hunting bow behind him. You used just this bow? And hunted this much? Meeting his gaze, Li Jianya nodded calmly. Li Daqiang couldn't help clicking his tongue in amazement. Good lad. Well done indeed. A few days ago, I took the brigade's hunting rifle up the mountain and made a big round, and I didn't even hit a single hare. But you, using nothing but a shabby bow, brought back so much. You've really been hiding your talents, kid. He patted Li Jianya on the shoulder, having long since forgotten how strongly he had opposed Li Jianya going up the mountain to hunt earlier. His eyes held nothing but approval for Li Jianya. Li Jianya, who used to seem like a nobody, had now amazed everyone in one stroke. The villagers who had originally planned to go up the mountain to search for them also saw the game Li Jianya had hunted, and every one of them was astonished. Good heavens, Jianya's skills are incredible. Yeah, look at this deer. At the very least, it must have 5 or 6 dozen gene of meat, right? And these rabbits and pheasants. All added together, if it's not 200, it's at least 150 or 60 gene of meat. Jianya, who would have thought? You usually seem so quiet and unremarkable, but one trip up the mountain and you hunted so much game. The admiring looks were completely undisguised. In this day and age, meat was a rare commodity. So much wild game was enough to make the entire village green with envy. Very soon, someone could no longer suppress the desire in their heart, and tentatively spoke up. Jianya, look, you've hunted so much game. Your family can't finish it all, right? Could you spare some for us? My family will trade grain with you. Yes, Jianya, my family still has corn and grain coupons, and cloth coupons too. We'll trade you for some meat so the children can satisfy their craving. My family has eggs too. For a moment, voices asking to trade for meat rose one after another. Li Jianya raised a hand to signal everyone to be quiet. If you want to trade for meat, go to my house later. Seeing this, everyone went home one after another to fetch valuable things and practical items, preparing to trade Li Jianya for some meat to eat. At the back of the crowd, Lu Erden glared hatefully at Li Jianya, cursing inwardly. Li Jianya, this brat, is really lucky. He went up the mountain to hunt for 2 days in a row, yet he still didn't fall into a tiger's jaws and died deep in the mountains. Damn it. And he even hunted so much game. It's all meat. It was making him drool with craving. Lu Erden wiped his saliva and wished all of Li Jianya's meat were his, so he could rush up and stuff mouthful after mouthful into his mouth. The night was thick. Li Jianya carried the heavy game over his shoulder as he headed home. Anna stayed close by his side, her heart, which had been hanging in suspense just now, still not completely settled. Jianya, I was really scared just now. The villagers all said they were going up the mountain to look for you, so I went along too. I was so worried something had happened to you. Hearing her soft, lingeringly frightened voice, Li Jianya turned his head, a reassuring smile on his face. Anna, it's okay now. Look, didn't I come back just fine? And I even brought back so many good things. Nearby, Widow Lu had been tightly clutching her son Li Dongliang's arm, afraid he might run off again. Hearing this, she immediately cut in, her voice still choked with tears. Fine. What's fine about it? Dongliang, I'm telling you, if you dare follow your brother Jianya around recklessly again, just see if I don't break your legs. Today really scared the soul out of me. You're my only son. If anything happened to you, how could I go on living? Li Dongliang lowered his head even more after being scolded by his mother and muttered softly, I know I was wrong. Widow Lu's eyes reddened again. Li Jianya and Li Dongliang quietly exchanged a glance. And tacitly neither of them brought up the traces on the mountain that suggested a blind bear might have been active there. If Widow Lu found out, she would probably faint on the spot. Soon, they arrived outside Li Jianya's yard. Li Jianya unloaded the game from his shoulder and dragged the deer into the yard. He took a knife from inside the house and skillfully began processing the roe deer, carefully cutting off the velvet antlers from its head. These were valuable. Then he cut off all the meat and estimated that, excluding the inedible parts, There was at least about 150 jin of meat left. He deftly cut a large chunk from the roe deer's leg and weighed it in his hand. It was a full 10 jin or so. He called Li Dongliang over and handed the meat directly to him. Brother Jianye, Li Jianye held the meat out toward him. Take it. You worked yourself to the bone today too and helped carry quite a lot of stuff. Take this piece of meat back and have your mother stew it for you, to build you up. Li Dongliang was startled and waved his hands repeatedly, his face flushing red. No, Brother Jianye, this is too much. I only helped you carry a few animals. How could I take this much meat? You can just give my family a wild chicken and that'll do. These days meat is incredibly precious. 10 jin of meat was enough for their family to eat for several days. But Li Jianye would not allow him to refuse and directly stuffed the meat into Li Dongliang's arms. The heavy weight made him stumble. Take it. Why be so polite with me? After saying that, Li Jianye turned around and picked up the fattest wild chicken from the pile of game in the yard and stuffed it to Li Dongliang as well. Take this wild chicken too. Don't refuse anymore. Hurry and bring it back. Widow Lu was raising the child by herself, and life was not easy for her. Besides, Li Dongliang had helped look for game today, butchered and bled it, and run back and forth carrying the animals. He had really put in a lot of effort. This is what he deserves. Li Dongliang held the meat and the chicken, at a loss for words for a moment. He could only keep thanking him. Thank you, Brother Jianye, thank you. In the neighboring yard, Widow Lu watched Li Jianye generously give her family so much meat, and her heart stirred slightly. 10 jin of meat. If it were taken out to sell, it would fetch at least more than 10 yuan, right? These days, even a city worker only earned a few dozen yuan a month, while Li Dongliang had only put in a bit of effort by following along and could get this much meat. Widow Lu understood that Li Jianye was not only generous. This child was kind at heart and was looking after her and her son. Ding! Widow Lu favorability +2. Current favorability, 14. After seeing the system notification in front of him, Li Jianye's head filled with question marks. What the heck is going on now? Widow Lu counts 2? Good grief. If the favorability keeps going up, who knows what might happen? From now on, when Li Dongliang sees Li Jianye, should he call him Brother Jianye or call him? Li Jianye didn't have time to think further. The villagers who wanted to trade for meat had already arrived. In their hands, they tightly clutched all kinds of things. Some had a few crumpled food coupons. Some had a few dimes or 1 or 2 yuan carefully wrapped in handkerchiefs, while others directly carried half a small sack of cornmeal or sorghum rice. Their eyes were fixed intently on the pile of meat in the yard. Jianye, give me 1 jin. Here's 50 cents. Do you think that's enough? I want 2 jin. I'll trade grain coupons for it. I have 5 jin of cornmeal here. Just give me a little extra to satisfy the craving. The yard instantly became lively, like a market fair. Li Jianye moved quickly and efficiently, exchanging with dozens of people one by one. Altogether, the scattered bits of money he collected added up to more than 20 yuan, plus a stack of grain coupons in various denominations, several chi of cloth coupons, and roughly 50 or 60 jin of coarse grain piled in the corner. The haul was not small, and the meat still wasn't all gone, leaving Li Jianye with 1 pheasant, 2 snow hares, and 50 or 60 jin of venison. Just as he was about to tidy up, another person walked in through the yard gate. It was the village brigade leader, Li Daqiang. Li Daqiang was also clutching money and grain coupons in his hand. Here is 10 yuan and 20 jin worth of grain coupons. Your aunt just had a baby and is still in confinement. And her body is weak, so I want to nourish her well. In times like these, although money is important, coupons are even more important. Otherwise, it's easy to end up in a situation where you have money but can't buy anything. 20 jin worth of grain coupons were still very useful to Li Jianye. However, Li Jianye's gaze did not fall on the money and coupons right away. He recalled that at the village entrance earlier, he seemed to have caught a glimpse of something slung over the brigade leader's shoulder as he hurried home. A hunting rifle, the village's only gun, had previously been used by the village hunter to protect the village and deal with wild beasts coming down from the mountain. Later, after the hunter was gone and no one became a hunter anymore, that hunting rifle was kept by the brigade leader. If Li Jianye had that gun, he would have much more confidence going into the mountains in the future. Even if he ran into a black bear, he'd dare face it head-on. Uncle Daqiang, no rush on the money and coupons for now. Uncle, look, I need equipment for hunting too. That hunting rifle of yours, could you lend it to me for a while? If I hunt anything in the mountains later, I can give you an extra share. Hearing Li Jianye's words, Li Daqiang immediately frowned. No, his tone was very firm. Jianye, you've got guts, but you're still too young. and you do things too rashly. A gun is not something to fool around with. If it accidentally goes off and hurts someone, that'll be serious. Looking at Li Jianya. Although Li Jianya was now able to go into the mountains to hunt for a living and shoulder the responsibility of supporting the family, he still could not completely trust Li Jianya. Besides, the mountains are so dangerous, and you were just lucky this time. Take your uncle's advice and stay settled. Don't keep heading into those deep mountains and old forests. Quit while you're ahead. If you really run into a black bear, you won't even have a place to cry. The brigade leader left no room for negotiation at all. Li Jianya was a little disappointed, but he also knew he couldn't force the matter. So he stopped bringing up borrowing the gun and reached out to take the money and grain coupons Li Daqiang handed over. All right, Uncle Daqiang, I understand. He turned and walked over to the pile of meat, picked out a fine piece of hind leg meat, estimated the weight, and added a few more pieces. What he cut off looked to be a full 15 or 16 gene, quite a bit more than Li Daqiang had expected. Uncle, is this enough? If not, I'll cut you some more. Li Daqiang looked at that big chunk of meat, stunned for a moment, then waved his hand. Enough, enough, it's too much. He carefully took the meat. Jianya, thanks. Before leaving, Li Daqiang still couldn't help reminding him once more. You'd better stop going up the mountain to hunt. Don't brush it off. Hear me? Got it, uncle. Li Jianya responded. Li Daqiang's figure disappeared through the yard gate. Anna walked out of the house. Jianya, the brigade leader is right. The mountains really are dangerous. We already have so much food now. It can last us quite a long time. So don't go any more in the future. Li Jianya's gaze swept over the remaining game in the yard. That pile of cut-up venison gleamed with the fresh red color of meat. By estimate, there had to be at least 40 or 50 gene left. Anna was right. The grain at home, plus the money and coupons exchanged today, plus the dozens of gene of coarse grain in the corner, could indeed keep them going for a while. There was no need to risk going into the mountains every day. Li Jianya nodded. All right, Anna, I'll listen to you. I'm not going up the mountain tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll make a trip to the city and find the black market to get rid of this meat, along with those antlers. Exchange them for money or for more practical coupons and grain. At the words, black market, the relief Anna had just felt eased was slightly replaced by tension again. That place is quite risky too.